Hey. It is an unstoppable day. It is your boy. And if it's Tuesday, then it must be the Unstoppable Stories Show with Terrence Leffridge. How you doing? I'm Terrence, the Unstoppable Coach Leffridge with Unstoppable Coaching Services, where we help you create your vision, implement your vision, and hold you accountable to living the life you were created to live. And one way we do it is by this phenomenal show that comes on every week called the Unstoppable Stories Show, where we talk to ordinary people with unstoppable stories. So come on in, swipe and share. Welcome to another evening of quality programming on the internet. Hey, shout out to Dakisha. Hey, Dakisha, how you doing out there? Thank you for joining the broadcast. Come on in, swipe and share. And you know how we do. Once you come on in, you got to tell us where you're watching us from. So come on, just put in the feed where you are watching us from. And we want to know if you're watching us live or if you're watching us in the replay. So if you're watching us live, we just want you to put that number 1 out there, and then we will recognize you right here in the live broadcast. But hey, if you weren't able to watch us live and you're watching the replay, go ahead and put that number 2, because somebody from the Unstoppable Story Show will be watching the replays, and we will shout you out again if you are watching us in the replay, because we appreciate you. Julia Spence from Vancouver, Canada, thank you for watching. Hey, all right. International show. Dakisha says, hey, Terrence and Vanessa. Hey, Dakisha, my fellow black belt speaker sister, and who is doing it big as her own virtual CEO. It's a beautiful thing. I love it. I love it when you all come together and when you're all coming out and you're watching such quality programming. Julia put in the number 1. She followed instructions. Thank you so much, Julia, for watching it and for following the instructions. Oh, okay. Hey, so this is the month of July, and the month of July is right past that halfway point in the year. And when we all get to the middle of the year, first of all, it's summer, so some of us are thinking about slowing down and taking a vacation, but other of us in the world of entrepreneurship, this is where we take a moment to reflect on the first 2 quarters of the year. Because in business, we all look at 4 quarters. We look at the first quarter, second quarter, third quarter, and the fourth quarter. And July is that beginning of the third quarter. So it's a time where you want to take stock and look at what you have been doing as an entrepreneur. But what if you're not an entrepreneur? What if you're that person that is working that 9 to 5? Well, you also know that it's the middle of the year. You also know that you've had a couple of quarters in this year where you have just been working for the man, working that job, that just over broke position. And now you are probably also doing some reflection as well. You know what? Is this really what I want to do? Do I want to keep doing this? Do I want to keep putting all this effort into fulfilling somebody else's dreams? Or maybe is it time for me to jump and take that leap of faith and start working on my own dreams so that I can not only help other people be unstoppable, but that I can start living the unstoppable life myself? Well, if that's you, then that's who we want to focus on this month. In the month of July, we're going to be talking to entrepreneurs who have left their 9 to 5 and they have taken that jump, taken that leap into the full-fledged sea of entrepreneurship, and that they are living their life on the next level. And I dare say that the guests that we have this month, they are living an unstoppable life of their own. So we hope that this information that we're going to be sharing with you this month will not only educate you on what it means to be an entrepreneur, the good, the bad, and the ugly, because there are all those 3 things out there, but we also hope that it will motivate you and that it will inspire you, and maybe it will be just that nudge that you might be looking for to take your own jump, your own leap of faith, to jump out into the sea of entrepreneurship and grow your wings on the way down. So we've got a phenomenal guest that's going to be joining us this evening to help us jump off this week of jumping and leaping into faith into the world of entrepreneurship. And she's none other than a good friend of mine, Vanessa Collins. Now, you know, each time we do their bio, and I tell you up front that their bio that I'm going to read to you just scratches the surface of who they are as a person and what they do. And they can do far better than this. But I'm going to give you just a couple of tidbits. Vanessa Collins is an author. She's a publisher. And she is a CDMP. Big capital letters, y'all. Now, y'all might be saying, what is CDMP, Coach T? Well, I'm glad you asked, because she is a certified digital marketing professional. She's not just a digital marketing professional. She is certified. That means she has taken the classes, she's taken the courses, she's passed the tests, and she is certified, y'all. So the information she's going to be giving to you is true, and you can take it to the bank tonight. She helps small businesses and entrepreneurs develop digital marketing strategies so that they can monetize their message without getting lost in that sea of technology. And you know, if you're trying to do the podcast or the shows or the virtual sales or the sales funnels or any of that stuff that sounds like Greek or French or geometry or trigonometry or all those metries, then you know what I'm talking about. But she is the person that can help make sense of all those crazy terminologies and all those different platforms that you can utilize to not only work smarter, but not to have to work as hard in making your business a success. But no, that's not just it. She also co-owns Heart Thoughts Publishing and Tahitian Black Companies. She's published 4 books of her own, and 2 publishing companies have published over 20 authors and over 45 books and counting. And in addition, she's helped over 20 authors start their own publishing and coaching businesses. Now, personally, Vanessa has a heart of gold, and she is former Chi-Town. So I just gotta shout her out as being from Chi-Town. She is a blessing, and we have known each other now for about 5-6 years. She actually helped me when I was starting out as an MC with one of my first MC jobs was one of her conferences that she had here in the city of Chicago. So we have gone through the trenches together. We have been on each other's radar for quite some time. And I'm so glad that she has come back to the UnStopABLE Stories Show. So without further ado, let's welcome to the show the CDMP, Miss Vanessa Collins. Mic check, 1 2 1 2.
Mic check. What is up, Coach D?
Hey,
Coach D, what's up?
How are you, sweetie?
I am good. Man, I gotta update that bio because you're up to like 100 books, 50 authors.
Well, you know what, I pulled it at the last minute, and so because I saw that as the CDMP, you're always improving your own stuff, and so your current website is under construction. So I had to go to your other favorite place, which was Amazon. So as I said, I knew that this was probably some dated information, but the information I just gave is astounding. But the fact that you have surpassed that information is amazing. So why don't you go ahead and take a minute and give us the updated information about the CDMP, Vanessa Collins, and what's going on with you. Take it away.
Hey guys, well, as you heard, I am Vanessa Collins, your certified digital marketing strategist. And I'm just excited to be here to share with you guys about taking that leap and having entrepreneurial freedom. So I don't want to waste a whole bunch of time talking about me. I want to get into this discussion because there are so many things that you guys need to do. And Coach T, I don't know if, I'm sure you did. Did you see that amazing speech that Tyler Perry gave during the
Yes.
BET Award.
Yes, about his studio and what his studio used to be, and how it used to be the place where hundreds of former slaves and former
The
um,
Confederate soldiers.
Confederate soldiers were there, and now one Negro owns the whole thing. Yeah, I saw it.
You saw. Well, he said one statement at the end that I think every entrepreneur needs to like put in a plaque and just put it on their wall. And that's the idea. And I'm kind of paraphrasing it, is that there's so many people's destiny that are tied to your dreams. And people are waiting for you. They are waiting for your books. They're waiting for your ideas, your dreams, your business. They are waiting for it. And while you're on your 9 to 5, and that's good. We all had to do the 9 to 5. We thank God for the 9 to 5s. Okay. We thank God for them.
Absolutely. Yes, yes.
Okay. Yes. But I want you to know that you don't have to be tied to that. And you don't have to wait until you are free from the 9 to 5 to start living your dream and your destiny when it comes to your entrepreneurial journey. And tip for you, Terrence, the quicker you start building your dream while you're doing your 9 to 5, the easier and the quicker is going to be for you to live that dream full out.
I love it. A dear friend of both of ours, Delatoro McNeil, he wrote a book called Caught Between a Job and a Dream. And, that was my mantra for the longest time when that book came out, because I am still in that category of the part-time entrepreneur, and we're gonna break it down between those two as we move into this conversation. But that is really what some of the tenets that I really took from that book was being able to use my 9 to 5 to fuel my entrepreneurship, and part of that has gotten me to where I am thus far. But you are leaps and bounds ahead of it, so we want to talk to you as the expert tonight in that entrepreneurial endeavor. So, but what I always have to do, gotta do it, because this is the Unstoppable Story Show. So every guest I ask this question to. So let's not be any different with you. So Vanessa, what does it mean to you when you hear the word unstoppable?
When I hear the word unstoppable, I think of being able to break through. Uh, when we used to joke when we would drive behind a car that waited too long at a stop sign, and we would be behind it. This is before real road rage happened. But we would say little comments like, it says stop, don't park. And when I think about unstoppable, I think of the fact that you are moving forward. You are breaking through things. And sometimes when you're breaking through things, there's a stop there's a pause. And we talk about slowing down, the speed up, and all of that. And I think sometimes people get discouraged when they're at that stopping, that pausing point. But unstoppable means to me that, yeah, you may stop for a minute, you may pause for a minute, but you're going to break through. That pause may be to pick up a hammer. That pause may be to, get the keys and get in a bulldozer. You may have a pause for a moment, but as long as you break through, you got it going on.
I love it. And I love asking that question because everybody has a different perspective on it. And that's a new twist on it. Unstoppable. People seem to focus on the word stop. But when you just look at the fact that sometimes in order to be unstoppable, you've got to pause for a second or two and build back your energy or get a different tool or try a different way to break through, then that makes all the difference in the world. Some people get stuck and then they stop. Other people recognize that sometimes you've got to pause before you can break through and really be unstoppable. So thanks for sharing that with me. Let's talk about your breakthrough, because as you said, you were a 9-to-5er at some point in your life. So let's talk about the point that Vanessa Collins went from what she was doing in her 9-to-5, and then what was that defining moment that allowed you to make the leap of faith into entrepreneurship?
Well, my story is a little different because it's been 20 years. I left corporate America in 1999, and it was a good opportunity at the time. I worked for Amoco Oil Company as a chemical engineer. They were bought out by British Petroleum, and I was offered a year's severance.
Mm.
Had two young kids, husband, two young kids, and it was a great deal. Okay, it was wonderful. We did some ministry stuff full time. I'd always wanted to be full time at the church that I was serving at as an associate type minister. So we did that. We started 24-hour childcare with our pastor. Did all of that stuff. So there is kind of a gap between when I left corporate America and when I started full-time entrepreneurship. Now, even when I was in corporate America, I've always had this entrepreneurial drive. So my husband and I, Derek, started this company probably within our second year of marriage. And we will be married 29 years this
Wow,
September.
congratulations. Shout out to
Yay!
Derek. What's happening, Derek?
Yes, yes. But so, I mean, and this was back when we were doing like desktop publishing, okay?
Mm-hmm.
The old school stuff.
Right.
And so I did some other things and discovered that church politics could be sometimes worse than corporate politics. And had to get a whole new freedom mindset. You're in corporate America and you're like, I can't wait to get free, can't wait to get free from this job. Got in the church ministerial atmosphere, and it was like, okay, yeah, we need to break free from this too. And actually, some things transpired, and really believe it was God that told me it's time to go. It's
Mm.
time to go.
Do you find that that's probably what happens in most people who finally take that leap and go, that they have that word from God, or they have that feeling that they just need to break free from what they're currently doing?
Yeah, a lot of people I talk to do. A lot of people I talk to do. Some don't, though. And I guess the thing that I want to encourage people to do, and I wish if I had it to do over, I would have taken my part-time entrepreneurship more seriously when I was working in corporate America, or even working in the ministry. When I had that income, I would have taken it a little more seriously.
So
But
let's park right there for a second, because
okay.
we're talking with Vanessa Collins, our certified digital marketing professional, on the Unstoppable Stories Show, as we talk about entrepreneurship in the month of July, breaking free from that 9-to-5, taking that leap of faith and jumping and growing your wings on the way down. And as you said, your path to entrepreneurship was was unique. I don't know very few people that get the package that allows them to just chill for a while they figure it out. Most of the people that I've spoken to or have been on this show, their leap of faith came with nothing, nothing to parachute them, nothing to really hold on to or to really be able to count on, except their faith in themselves. So
Well, we got to that point, though. We got to that point. That parachute wore out quickly.
and that's what I want to talk about, because you said you wish you had taken it more serious. So I want to talk about, because even those who don't have the parachute, when they jump out there, sometimes we don't tend to take it seriously, because we don't call ourselves part-time entrepreneurs. We call it our part-time hustle. And
Right.
that hustle has the connotation of, well, I'll hustle today, but I may not hustle tomorrow, and
Exactly.
I'll take the weekend off, and then I'll hustle again on Monday. So why do you think, even with the cushion that you had over some other people, you didn't take your part-time entrepreneurship as serious as you should have?
At the time, I didn't realize that I could achieve what others were achieving. And I didn't even know, I didn't grow up in an atmosphere of entrepreneurs. So I was out there, Terrence, on my own. Okay. Nobody, I didn't have an uncle to go to. There were no businesses in the family. So I was learning what I could on the internet, on a class here, a class there, somebody's real good freemium here, and really trying to put it together. I didn't know that this whole entrepreneurial thing, I didn't even know what that looked like when I thought about entrepreneurship and small business, because it wasn't even, entrepreneurship wasn't even the word then. It was
Right.
small.
It wasn't the catchphrase.
It
Yeah.
wasn't a catchphrase. It was small business. So you had to try to figure out what widget were you going to produce? What were you going to do? I remember taking classes with the small business. What's it called? The small
The
business.
SBI, the
Yeah,
SBA,
SBI.
Small Business Administration.
Right, the small SBA, the Small Business Administration, because um that is what was out there for us. Okay. I didn't know that there were other things out there that could really show you how to operate in this space. Now, when I started, social media and the internet was just really getting hot. Okay.
Right.
I remember, I think I got on Facebook probably within the first couple of years of it, being open to everybody. Because at first it wasn't even open to everybody.
Right.
Uh, and, we was just, I didn't take it serious because I just didn't know it was going to be like that big of a thing.
I got you. And was part of it, like you said, you didn't have anyone in your family that could show you that, and that the adage is so true. It's hard to be what you haven't seen. So it was hard to be an entrepreneur if you didn't see what entrepreneurship or even owning a small business at that time looked like. So was that part of the reasons why you probably was not as serious about it as maybe you are now? Because now you've been it, and now you've shown other people how to do it.
Exactly. It's a proven thing now. Before it was, we were taught, get an education,
Mm-hmm.
get a good job.
And get a gold watch.
Get a gold watch. Okay. And if the gold
As,
watch
as
doesn't
you
work,
see, I
right,
ain't got it yet.
right. Uh, we weren't taught just that whole thing of entrepreneurship. And I was looking up some stuff today, and I think about the fact Jim Rohns and the Zig Ziglars and all of them who were, doing conferences and stuff that I didn't even know about at that time. And I could have taken uh, a portion of that instead of it getting eat up. It got ate up in bills and all of that.
Right.
It wasn't like we did a whole bunch of stuff with it. Um, but then dealt with some unemployment issues and all of that. But I can you imagine if I had connected with a Jim Rohn, a Zig Ziglar back in 1999,
Yeah. Where
where
would
I
you be
could
now?
have been now, you had I known a George Fraser back in 1999,
Yes.
it's like I didn't even know these people existed. I didn't know this stuff was out there. So, uh, we are in just a wonderful age right now, and you have to take advantage of it. You have to take advantage of the the services that are being offered. We're in an educational space unlike anything else.
Yes, indeed. I mean, just look at a show like this. A show like this didn't exist in 1999, or the capability to do this type of show definitely was. It may have been available, but I wouldn't have been able to afford it at that not
Exactly.
1999.
Exactly.
The way you can
Exactly.
do it right now. So definitely, a lot of things have really changed, and this is a perfect time for any person that's thinking about becoming an entrepreneur to really cut their teeth and really start their craft and have a good chance of becoming successful. But let's go back to you. So when did you go from being a part-time entrepreneur into being a full-time entrepreneur?
I didn't go full in my mind. I didn't go full time until 2015. Now
Wow.
I've been home.
Okay.
I've
So
been
let's look at that. 1999 to
hmm
2015. So 16 years
hmm
you were part-time entrepreneur until you in your mind felt like you were full-time.
exactly. I spent 7 years working full time in the ministry, and then had my God got jokes baby, as I call him. And being 40 with a newborn was like, oh my God. So,
Yeah, yeah.
it took a couple of years just to kind of wrap my head around that. Uh, but it wasn't until we dealt with some financial issues in the household that I realized, okay, I got to make this work. We
Yeah.
we we got to do something, and it really wasn't until I happened upon this show back in February of 2016. Got a random text. I do not, Terrence, I can't tell you to this day how I got on this mailing list.
Mm-hmm.
But I got this random text that said, a few more complimentary seats have been opened to this virtual event. And I was like, oh, okay. And I didn't even realize what text messaging marketing was at that time. I thought it
Absolutely.
was a real person. Okay, because I think
Mm-hmm.
I replied back. I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you. Who is this again?" Something like
Who
that.
are you?
Right? Who are you? And I clicked on it, went to the website, and saw what I thought was just the most phenomenal thing in the world. I had never seen anything like it. It was called 72 Hours of Power.
Mm.
And here was all of these African American people, coaches and business owners, and all of this. I mean, really teaching some stuff, really doing some stuff. And I was just in awe. I was absolutely in awe. And I looked at that thing. I called my friend Julia Royston. I was like, oh my goodness, I have found the people. I have found our people. Okay. I have found them. They are on this website. I have found them. And I sat there probably 50 of those 72 hours just learning and looking, in awe. And so I'm looking at this and I'm like, wow, okay. And these people are in Maryland. And I'm like, wow, they really do it big in Maryland. Okay. And
Mhm.
then they introduced this guy who's from Chicago. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. We got folks in Chicago. There are people in Chicago that do this. And I remember seeing your presentation. I think you
Mm,
like presented twice. You had presented one time during kind of the day, and then the other time it was like, yeah, I think it played at like 2 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 o'clock
yeah,
in the morning.
yeah,
And
yeah.
I was on there, stalking you afterwards. I mean, I followed you on Twitter. I followed you on Facebook. I think I reached out to you. It was
Yes,
like, hey,
yes,
I'm
yes.
from Chicago too. And I'm
That was a fantastic time, and like you, I felt like the mecca of Black professionals had found its way onto the airwaves. Even if it was just internet, it was a place where people could log into, and thousands of people were watching this 72 hours of continuous quality programming from thought leaders, speakers, authors,
yes,
and millionaires. Let's not forget that there's people that were with money, not only just with influence, but with money.
yeah.
And
And they were breaking the money stuff down. I mean, they were
yes,
breaking it down, and I was like, really? Oh wow, we could like really do this stuff. And I remember, I can't even remember who it was, but I remember seeing someone pitch a 997 program
mm,
and people purchasing it.
yeah,
And I remember just saying, kind of in a prayer and in my conversation with God, because we talk like that. And I was like, man, I was like, God, I wish I could sell a $997 program. And the answer I heard back was, well, do you
you
have a
can.
nine? It was, well, do you have a $997 program? And
Mm,
I remember at that time, my biggest program was 400. I think at that point I had finally gotten up to $449.
mm.
And I would publish your book, edit your book. I mean, it probably, when I count the hours that I put in, it was probably less than minimum wage.
And minimum wage at that time was under $7, right?
Right, right. It was probably $4 an hour that,
Oh
you
yeah,
I was
yeah.
doing. But I did not know that that was out there. I had no idea. I did not know that, the only coaches I knew of was Ayana. I didn't know we had other people that
Yes,
were doing other things. And so that was probably one of the first, that was a break, that was a point for me. That was a definite um, change for me at that point. Looking at 72 Hours of Power, Shay Brown, Trevor Otts will always be in my heart for just providing that initial breakthrough.
absolutely. Shout out to Shay Brown and Trevor Otts, that Black CEO team. You can check them out on Facebook or any social media at Black CEO. And you know what? That the fact that I'm humbled, the fact that you saw me and then you started stalking me, and I lived through the stalking, and now we're friends. But at the same time, my journey was just beginning as well. And the thing about it is, you saw me because of the internet and you got inspired. But at that time, you had already had packages that you were selling. Now, totally transparent, I was on there, but I hadn't sold anything yet. I was playing. I was still the part-time entrepreneur that was still trying to figure it out. That, oh, okay, well, I had figured out how I could speak, and I had figured out how to use the camera, and I had figured out how to use the camera and my computer at the same time, and I had learned how to sync the internet up. So I had got that part down. So I was able to do the videos, but I hadn't created the packages, and I hadn't created the books, and I hadn't done the things that now that I look back 5 years later, all the things that I have done. And like you, I said, boy, imagine if I had met Shay and Trevor or George Frazier or Zig Ziglar or the Les Browns, all the heavyweights back when I started working full time at that Just Over Broke. When I was sitting at my desk during that time of working that Just Over Broke job, thinking about there's got to be more for me. But I was afraid to take that leap of faith. So what do you say to the entrepreneurs today as we jump into the tips? Because we can talk about our story. It'd be a 3-hour show. So let's give them something that they can walk away with in the last couple of minutes. What would you say to the entrepreneur today that has all these things available to them and also has the ability to connect with someone like you, a certified digital marketing professional? What would you say? What would you say the first tip would be to that person who's working the 9 to 5 but is ready to make that leap?
Fight. The word is fight. And I want you to think about what we are celebrating. Okay, where we are at the time of this recording, because I don't know when you'll actually see it, but at the time of this recording, we are in Independence Week. Okay, July 4th is coming up. We're talking about fighting for independence. And here's the interesting thing to me, and that is we celebrate July 4th. But that is just when the founders declared their independence. Independence didn't happen until 1783. And most of us, that's not even a date that most of us even know. Okay, I can't tell you the day that the war was over. I'm sure if I go to Uncle Google, I could find it out. But it's not the thing that we celebrate. It's not the most important part. The most important part is on this day, they declared their freedom. Yes. And so it starts with that. Yes. You have to declare your freedom. Even if you got to get up and go to work tomorrow, you have to declare your freedom. And you have to declare you're no longer a part-time entrepreneur. Because when you let yourself think you're a part-time entrepreneur, you give yourself a break. You are a full-time entrepreneur. Now, how many hours you going to put in? That may be, you may put in 2 hours today. Tomorrow, it may require that you put in 6, 7, 8 hours. That may cut into your sleep time. That may cut into your eating time. You may end up doing lunch at your desk so that you can read something or put a proposal together or something. You have to fight. You have to absolutely fight. You got to fight for your dream. You got to believe in your dream. And that's the biggest thing, is believing that you can do this. And you may need to see it being done. Terrence, I had to see it being done. And I had to search that out. Part of my fight was, you guys were an answer to prayer at that point. Yeah. I remember telling Julia Royston, because I would hear a lot of stuff from Tyler Perry. He's always been just kind of that inspiration from afar. And I remember saying to Julia, and this, I probably told her this in January of 2015. I was joking and I said, you know what? Tyler Perry's just gonna have to talk to me. Okay. He gonna have to have a conversation with me. And it's so funny because right after I said that, I don't know if you remember, if you've been on what's on his list, but he started sending out these inspirational emails
Yes.
on his list. And I was like, okay, this is cool. This is cool.
And then
But
he turned it into his inspirational videos on his Facebook and his Instagram.
exactly. But then when I saw Trevor, and to me, he looks like him and Tyler look like they could be cousins. Okay. They no, they favor. And I'm like, okay, this is good enough. If I can't talk to Tyler, I'll talk to Trevor. And having that ability to talk to someone like that, you have to fight for that.
Yes.
You got to fight for your dream. You got to fight for your business. Everything isn't going to work out. You cannot get discouraged. How many times have you tried something, Terrence, and it didn't work?
Oh my God! You would think failure was my middle name. And that's a great thing. The fight and the failure. You got to fight the failure. You got to fight the fear of failing. And many times we take the fact that you failed at something and you create your own story as if you are a failure. And the millionaires and the billionaires will tell you that they got to become millionaires and billionaires because they failed at becoming a hundredaire. They failed at becoming a thousandaire. They failed at becoming a 10,000aire, but they kept doing it. And I tell the story, and I told the story on 72 Hours of Power about 409 Klinger. You know that story, right? 409.
Oh, yeah. It was a mistake. Yeah.
Formula 409 was not just one mistake, it was 408 mistakes until they got to the right combination that is now a household cleaner that has been around for decades and been in millions and millions of homes. But just imagine if the founders, the creators of that Formula 409, if they had stopped at Formula
372.
Right. Imagine if they had stopped at Formula 20,
Right.
Formula 50, Formula
Right.
100, Formula 400. Imagine if they had stopped. Where would we be? Where would all the people that have greasy kitchens right now, where would they be right now? And that's the mindset. That's the difference between someone who still is stuck in a job and someone who is willing to take that leap of faith and jump and grow their wings on the way down. You recognize that you're going to fail. You recognize you're going to hit some rocks on the way down. But if you just keep growing those wings, you'll get enough air underneath you to float over the next set of rocks, and then over the next set of rocks. And then you'll find yourself flying more than you're falling. Would you find that to be your trajectory now that you have embarked on that full-time entrepreneurial career since 2016?
I think I probably fail now more than I did before because I try more things now.
Absolutely.
Now my successes are bigger, but I've tried a whole bunch of stuff to get there. Let me share with you real quick. Hopefully this will give you a mindset shift when it comes to the whole failure thing. And I want you guys to borrow my scientific mentality, okay? My degree is in chemical engineering. So that means in high school and colleges, I did a ton of labs, okay? You guys remember the labs. You guys remember the science labs. The whole idea behind a science lab is that you have a hypothesis, you test it, and then you record the data. You're not graded on whether it fails or not. You test it. That is what scientists do. 95% of a scientist's life deals with the failure, deals with stuff that doesn't work. You know, the quote from Thomas Edison about, I just found 10,000 ways that it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
That is the life of a scientist. And we're in this we're in this lab called entrepreneurship. And let me tell you, let me be the one to break it to you. 90%, and this is so unscientific, don't go quote me. This is just from how I feel. 90%,
According to Vanessa.
right, this is a word according to Vanessa. 90% of the stuff you try is not going to work.
Mm.
But the 10% that does work is going to be amazing. If you're building funnels, if you put 10 landing pages out there, you're going to find 9 of them are not going to work as well as that one.
Yeah.
You put together different packages, and I know I've had the thing where, I put this package together, I put it out there and see what the marketplace says, and they say, Vanessa, I don't want that. And the way they say that is that they don't buy it.
Right.
They don't respond. They don't respond. But then you get that one that responds, that one thing that people are like, yeah, this is good. This is what I need. And then you go from there and you build on that. And so we have to, as entrepreneurs, not get so married to the experiments. Okay, you put a product out there, you try a new piece of technology. If it doesn't work, you try it a few more times, you try to tweak it a little bit more. If it doesn't work, you move on.
Absolutely. I tell people I'd rather have 10% of something than 90% of nothing. And it's guaranteed that you are going to have nothing if you never try something. And that's important to know. And the word, according to Terrence, my own scientific equation for you, since we're talking to the engineer.
Just we throwing them out there.
Throwing them out there. It's a simple 4-word equation. Watch this. It's called START. Fail, learn, succeed.
Yep.
Start, fail, learn, succeed. And you got to do it in that order, because I guarantee you, if you never start anything, you'll never fail anything. But guess what? You will fail by default because you never started anything.
Right. And you won't learn anything.
You won't learn anything.
You won't.
And if you never learn anything, how will you ever become successful at anything? So it's important for everybody who's watching this, whether you're watching this live or replay, checking out the certified digital marketing professional Vanessa Collins on the Unstoppable Stories Show, that we want you to understand that failing is part of the process to becoming that successful entrepreneur. We both have shared stories about how we played at it, but Vanessa has taken it seriously, and her business is growing. Her publishing business is growing. Her digital marketing business is growing. You look at her Amazon page, she's got this, and this. She's got something for everybody on her digital platform. And you got into the digital platform part of it at the time before the curve, right?
Yeah, I mean, I got into it because I was tired of failing. I was learning this stuff. I became a certified digital marketing specialist because I was trying to figure out, how do I use this social media stuff? How do I use this technology to build my publishing business? And so I started taking classes with Ed Dale and Ryan Dice. I'm a digital marketer. That's who I'm certified through. And as I started taking classes and learning how to do this stuff, I found out that there were other business owners and entrepreneurs that needed to learn that stuff too. And so while I was trying to tell them write your book, write your book. They were telling me, I'm not really thinking about the book right now, but how'd you set up that email list? How did you set up that landing page? And it's like, oh, okay. And I realized they needed that help as well. And so the certification was initially for me, just like my publishing company was initially for me. I was not thinking about publishing anybody else. I was not necessarily thinking about helping anybody else with their digital marketing. I needed to learn it for me. And that scientist part of me likes things very structured and very systematic. And so this was a very structured, systematic program. It had quizzes, it had tests, and I was like, yes, I'm gonna be tested to know that I know this information.
You was
You
back in school.
right, I was back in school. I was like, yes, I love this. And it's like, oh, I'm certified. Oh, I remember looking at the final for our certification, and we had, oh my goodness, that certification was probably 80 to 90 hours of video.
Mm.
We had the initial was 8 modules, and then I ended up getting certified in 2 additional ones. Um, we had probably about 40 quizzes, 8 tests, and we had a final. And that final exam was basically putting together a digital marketing plan for an entire company. And I remember doing that final thinking, oh my goodness, this is like a $10,000 program to do this for somebody. That is when I realized, oh wow, this information could be marketable,
Could be of value.
could be of value.
And therefore, we talked earlier about God being a funny God. What you thought you were just doing for yourself, God was moving in the background to show you that this was something that you could do for others. And we can see in the feed that there are a lot of your students that are in there. Julia Spence is saying, "I'm no longer a part-time entrepreneur."
Yeah, my tribe is here.
Yeah, Worth Bean is in the room. She saw the formula too. Start, fail, learn, succeed. Love it, Terrence Leffridge. Love you for being here, Worth Bean. So because you stopped playing as a part-time entrepreneur, you got serious in 2016. You started doing the research and you shunned the failure possibilities. You are now at this point where you are living an unstoppable life. So in the last couple of minutes that we have before we have to end the show, let's just recap what tips you would give to our entrepreneurs right now in terms of fighting and declaring their independence. What would you say to them that they have to fight for?
You have to fight for your dream. Don't worry about the fact that others may not understand your dream. The dream was given to you. Don't get discouraged about the time. We're always looking for stuff to happen right away. Remember, this Independence Day, when you are eating that hamburger on July 4th and you're sitting back and celebrating Independence Day, I want you to understand that the real independence didn't happen for 7 years later. And if you know your history, they lost a lot of battles. Okay. It wasn't like it was a cakewalk in those 7 years. England did not get the memo that we were, it wasn't like we said, I think we want to keep this for ourselves. And England was like, oh, okay, cool. Good. No problem. We'll send you a housewarming gift. No, it didn't work like that. And it doesn't work like that. It didn't work like that in the Bible. Didn't work like that in our modern history. It is not going to work like that necessarily in your business. You have to fight for your business. But just like you fight for your family, just like you fight for those other things that you care about, you got to fight for your business.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Vanessa Collins, certified digital marketing professional, author, publisher, and all around great person, sharing her unstoppable story of how she went from a part time entrepreneur to jumping in with both feet, full time entrepreneur. Now she is living an unstoppable life and helping other people do the same. I appreciate you for coming on the show, Vanessa. Now, somebody is watching this who isn't already one of your clients. And if they're not one of your clients already, what's wrong with y'all? How can they get in contact with you and learn if maybe they've got a book they want to write, maybe they've got a manuscript that they need publishing, maybe they need to get they know nothing about digital or marketing, much less digital marketing. How can they get in contact with you and have a deeper conversation and learn about your services?
Well, if you would like to have a conversation with me, you can set up a call. Just go to bit.ly// talk to Van. I also have a special gift for you this evening. Some of the tips and more explanation of some of those tips of fighting for your book, fighting for your business, fighting for your dream. This is a free 3-part email series, and you can sign up for that right now. And just go to bit.ly// I fight 2019. And that's all lowercase, I fight 2019.
And that she talks quicker than I can type, so I'm putting it on, on here right now. I fight 2019, and that's what the digital marketing professional can do. They can just set something up right then and there. The show ain't even over, and you can go to bit.ly// I fight 2019, and you can get the notes and get a deeper conversation with Vanessa on how you can declare your independence this July and make the next 6 months of your life the best 6 months of your entrepreneurial career. Thank you, Vanessa. I appreciate you. Love you to life. And definitely, we're going to talk offline about some other things that you're doing and how the Unstoppable Story Show can collaborate with you on doing those things as well. So I'm gonna put you back in the green room, but don't hang up, okay?
All right. Thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. That's Vanessa Collins, the certified digital marketing professional. She's doing great things. Go check her out. Get the notes at bit.ly// I fight 2019. Or if you want to set up a call with her, go to bit.ly// talk to Van. That's Vanessa Collins. I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. Let's see. Worth Bean said, yes, she's all that and some more, living an unstoppable lifestyle. Absolutely. Antoinette Gabrielle is saying you have to fight for your dream. Yes, you've got to fight for it. Worth Bean saying you definitely want to connect with Coach Vanessa. I think we ought to actually have that happen. So go to bit.ly// talk to Van, connect with her. And again, I love what Julia said. I am no longer a part-time entrepreneur. So I hope something that was said on this show really inspired you to say that you are no longer a part-time entrepreneur, and maybe you are no longer ready to just accept that job. Maybe you, like I, are ready to jump and grow your wings on the way down. A baby chick, before they can learn how to fly, a gosling, the mama takes them up on a cliff, and the cliff is 400 feet high, and then the mom flies away and leaves them there. She flies down the side of the mountain, and she looks up. She's not so far away that the gosling can't see her, but she's far away enough that the gosling knows that the only way to get to her is to jump. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that when you jump, you don't know what's going to happen, but you do know that if you jump, somebody that you know and that you love is waiting down there for you to fly down to them. That's the encouragement that we need, and the encouragement that you may need to jump and start your entrepreneurial dream today is knowing that there are people like myself waiting to catch you, waiting to see your flight. There are people like Vanessa Collins that are waiting to see your flight. There are people like Shay Brown and Trevor Otts and George Fraser and Les Brown and Dr. Reuben West and a number of thought leaders, a number of excellent role models who have done their jump and they have grown their wings, and there are living examples of that. If you jump, you can grow into the person that God created you to be. And the greatest story in the greatest book ever told is when God appeared to Peter and the other disciples in the boat, and they didn't believe who he was. And they asked him, well, if you are him, then let me come out to you. And Jesus gave Peter the ability to walk on water. He didn't know. He took a leap of faith and he stepped out into the water. And as long as he kept his eyes on the Creator, he was able to walk on that water. As long as you keep your eyes on the prize, you too will be able to jump and grow your wings on the way down. That's my unstoppable message to you. I know it's going to be fearful. I know you're scared. Trust me, I'm there, been there, done that, got the t-shirt. But I also know that I'm more afraid of not jumping. I'm more afraid of having that meeting with my Creator at the end of that dash in my life and standing before Him, knowing the opportunities that I had available to me and only being able to say to Him, I was afraid to jump. Now is the time more than ever for you not to be afraid to jump. Be more afraid of what your life will be if you don't. And wherever you are in the world today, come back and join us each and every week on the Unstoppable Stories Show. And remember, don't just make it a great day. You guys go ahead and make it an unstoppable day. We'll see you next week.